I had 4 months. I had 4 months, and it was supposed to be that he was moving back in January of 2021, and I was out. Had no clue. I mean, obviously I had to live through that period thinking, oh my God, what's going to happen? I don't know what's going to happen. And it's hard, because even the most positive person, when you're faced with a trauma, when you're faced with a situation, then it's very difficult to remain calm, and it's very difficult to remain positive going through those types of situations. And I didn't, because you can't put grief and trauma and anxiety on the back shelf and pretend that nothing. So in July 2021, when my former partner was in Spain, and we had come to some agreement that had been negotiated between us in a public space. So I wasn't alone with him somewhere, I was in a public space. And the agreement was something like he would pay £10,000 into my bank within 2 weeks, and a balance of £30,000 would be paid on sale agreed. And there was some other things that were put down, because I took with me a notepad and a pen so we could actually write out some things, and we signed up. Both of us signed this paper. Then he asked me to type up this agreement that we'd come to, and I accepted that. Okay, 40,000 is better than nothing at all. Okay, despite the fact that he'd obviously said previous that it was going to be half of the sale value of the property. So then the buyers had viewed, and they were interested in this property, and I sent the typed up agreement to him the day before, and then him and the buyers were meant to be going to a notary or solicitor or someone, and apparently they wanted to pay a deposit in order to buy the house. Only what happened was, my former partner actually moved the goalposts again, and he'd already done this a lot of times, because altogether I have tried to negotiate, tried mediation, I've paid for 2 different mediators, I paid for 2 different solicitors, I've requested meetings before, and every time there's not been a solution. Okay, so this was no different. What happened? He took that typed up agreement and changed it slightly. And how he changed it slightly was that the 30,000 wouldn't be paid until I had moved out of the property. Now, in the situation that I'd been through, and in the situation where I'd taken advice from a lawyer at the Gender Violence Centre in Cartagena, that lawyer had told me it's money first, then move out. Now this is a similar situation to the other woman I was talking about, because she had support from her family. She didn't have money to pay for lawyers, but the support came from her family. She instructed lawyers, which had probably cost hundreds if not thousands, in order to have lawyers who would negotiate on her behalf with her former partner or the partner's lawyers in order to reach a settlement, right? And when that settlement was reached, there wasn't a check, it was a bank draft, so that the solicitor knew that the money was there and that it couldn't be cancelled. And that is how it was done. And she moved out of that property and she knew the money was there. Okay? You've got to have trust. Now, if you've been in a relationship where the trust has been broken because that person has lied, deceived you, wrote out some ridiculous letter spelling out what he's going to do to help you, and then go back on that, You've got no trust left. So you can't actually think that you're gonna move out and you're going to receive the funds that they're saying that they're going to provide. The trust is gone. So that was how he moved the goalpost in July. Now, after he did that, on the morning where he was meant to meet these buyers, I didn't get any information back. I was pacing up and down, not knowing what was happening and thinking, why has he changed this? And I'd verbally sent him a message to say that I can't do this. Why have you've moved the goalposts? I can't do this. Yes? So he got back and then said, the buyers have dropped out. So when the buyers had dropped out, I had a rethink and I said, well, look, meet again. Let's meet again. And he said he couldn't meet again. It was too traumatizing for him. And I'm thinking it was traumatizing for him. And it's like, how much trauma have I been through when he'd only just meet up with me again? He's thinking it's traumatizing for him. Only reason was he's basically a coward and couldn't look me in the eye and actually apologise for everything that's happened. But, you know, that's what you get if you're a bully. You really are a coward. Anyway, so I then sent him a message, an email, saying, I've got somewhere, I found somewhere I can go to and you can have vacant possession of this property. Just pay the settlement first. Right? And so even when he had the opportunity to have vacant possession of this property last year, July of 2021, he didn't listen and he wouldn't pay any settlement when I had somewhere to go. And I explained that I had somewhere to go. So that is the type of man I've been dealing with. And it's got really more to do with him and not me. Because I was willing to accept a payment last year in July of 2021 when I knew I had somewhere to go to. He was not willing to actually provide the settlement that he said, even if it were 40,000 or 60,000 or any sum, when I had somewhere to go. Because that's the type of man he is.